Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, I'm going to start a new series and very popular module and topic I can say in ServiceNow. This time I have taken and that is of Flow Designer. Flow Designer is nowadays is broadly used in ServiceNow. This is not a specific for a single module like you can only implement in service in incident or change. It's nothing like that. Flow Design is a basic concept of ServiceNow. So if you know how to design a flow, then you can use it in any other module in ServiceNow, right? We will be talking about in details and from a scratch to advanced level. So here I have listed down the topic guys which I'm going to cover in this series. So guys, please be with me till end of this series. If you are missing any video, then definitely you are not going to learn the whole concept about the flow designer. But before starting guys, I would like you to please do a like and subscribe my channel, and if you'll have any doubt, I am requesting you that please join my Telegram channel. You know that, right? Telegram, it's not a channel. I have created a group only for clearing doubt which you will be having after watching my session, right? So this only I can help you guys, that if you will have any technical hurdle or any road blocker, then you can clear those out in the Telegram group. It's not possible guys to reply you one to one because I was getting many requests to connect over the a screen sharing basis. Like that I'm getting a request, but I'm so sorry guys, I cannot do so because if I will start doing so, then definitely my whole day is not enough to support you guys. So if you will have any doubt, please reach out via the Telegram group. Right, guys. So let's start and just be with me till end of this series. So first, the topic which I'm going to cover in this flow designer, that is a flow design overview. We will understand why flow designer is required, right? Why we are learning a flow designer. Then once we'll understand the benefits and how we can use it and what is the purpose and where we can use in the service now. So we'll talk about in details. And the second topic which I will be covering in this series, that is the build a flow. A step by a step we will see how we can build a flow, so that on each step we will have a clear picture that if client is giving you the complex requirement, how you can achieve it via the flow. Because I will give you a little bit of background over here that before that, before a flow designer came into the picture, before we were using a workflow, right? But it's a very sad news, guys. ServiceNow has already announced that workflow is going to be deprecated soon. So if you are still working on the workflow concept, it's now time to switch from workflow to flow designer concept, right? And here you will get a lots of benefit over the flow designer. We will see what and but still, like service now has not announced it, that means we are not going to support you. It's still there with service now, they are going to support you, but those at what scenario you will be still using a workflow, we will see in upcoming video, right? The Yeah, so third topic which I will be covering in this series, guys, that we will be having many scenario and many use cases based on the requirement, business requirement which we will be doing. I'll be taking a practical example, whatever I have observed as of now. So I'll be taking those practical examples so that you can also understand the business need and how we can implement the same in service now, right? We will try to make all the out of box option with the various use cases. So that's my agenda for this flow designer series. And the last one which we will be covering, not last one, the creating a custom actions. So ServiceNow also gave us option to create our own action which we can utilize during our workflow designing, sorry, our flow designer concept. Okay, so that is the advanced level I can say that we will be covering in this series itself, and the advanced level flow implementation. So this will the if you will talk about the live example here I'm talking about, this will be the kind of a basic. So if you understand the basic concept, then I'll be after doing a custom action, I'll be taking again a live business requirement and the different use case to make you understand that how we can implement a flow designer in the advanced level, in the broad level. So I have just taken one example, that this is the simple flow I'll be implementing, that how we can design a workflow, flow designer for achieving this requirement. This is also a kind of a business requirement, guys. I'll be explaining it later in my upcoming video, in my subsequent video, that how we can implement it. But before that, we have to understand how we can design a flow, right? We have a various aspect to understand. Once you will start understanding those, then definitely you will be in a position to make this workflow ready. Right, guys? So let's start. The our first topic is a flow designer overview. Right. So let me give you, as I said earlier, that workflow is going to be deprecated soon, but we don't know when it is getting a stop giving a stop support by the service now. We don't know, but still maybe 2 years down the line, service now stop supporting on workflow. So to overcome from workflow, we have they have designed a flow designer concept. Okay, so we need to understand, and we will see how it will get benefited from the workflow. Basically, the main objective to introduce this flow designer concept in ServiceNow. That means they are going with the no low code and no code policy. I'm going to make a video on those as well, because ServiceNow is moving towards a no code and low code policy. So that they are going to apply on the whole ServiceNow module. But here in the Flow Designer is one of those. Right, so in flow designer basically we will be not using much coding. If you don't know how to do the scripting, don't worry. If you are a non-technical guy, then you to design a workflow, you just need to understand the concept and you will be ready to design any flow. Right, so that is things, guys, over here. So let's talk about if this will help you. What is your flow means, if it will help you, if someone, if you are giving an interview and interviewer is asking what do you understand by the flow in service now, so you just simply say a flow is automated business logic for an application or process of action that run each time a condition is met, something like that. We can just give a scenario. Perform the same predefined process every time it executes. So this is the 3 point which I have written, guys. You can just mention this. You can define, give a definition, that means what is a flow. For example, I have taken, we can trigger a notification via flow. We can send a email, directly email. We can ask for the approvals. We can create a task. So these kind of many kind of activity we can perform via the flow designer. Right, so one note I have written, guys, that it is considered good design practice to always create a flow designer content within a scope. So this is like a recommended, I'm giving you guys, that this is also recommended by ServiceNow. This is not recommended by me. I used to follow the best practice which is given by ServiceNow. So it's a best practice if you are creating any new flow and you are working for any scoped application, to make sure that means you are creating a workflow on that same application, a scope, right? If you are working on the global scope, then it's okay to create your flow designer in the global application, global scope. Fine, guys. So now let's understand the benefit which we will be getting for the flow designer. The first thing, it will give you a very good or single user interface to create or develop your flow designer. You can operate it, you can troubleshoot it, you can execute it, you can test it. So in one interface, guys, you will be getting all this option to do your activity. right? So before that it was not introduced that in one interface you can perform a multiple activity. So now here is the thing, guys. Before that we have one more thing ServiceNow has introduced, that is the agent workspace, right? That is also a single interface, guys, to perform the several activity. But here in the flow design as well, thus they are giving us same benefit, that in one single interface we can do a multiple steps, right? The second benefit, if you are a non-technical technical person, still if you understand the flow, because you don't know the coding, you don't know the JavaScript, and you don't know the others language, then still you can make a flow designer over here. It's only you need to understand how you can create a flow designer. And third point which I have written in that, guys, that means develop, share, and reuse your custom flow component with the others flow designer. Means like, let's say you have defined one global one, and that is a kind of a common one flow you have already designed, which will be used for the many others design your custom flow. Then instead of designing every time, you can use that your command flow designer, and you just basically call them. We will see how we can use the our different flow designer in one our custom flow design, right? Fourth point, I have written that, guys, we can integrate with the external instance and the third party application with a separate subscription to integration hub. I have already made a video on the integration hub. Over there I have used the spokes. They are calling it as a spokes. Spokes means you have to purchase. Basically, this is a licensed. I have written a separate subscription. You have to purchase it. So I in the integration hub video, I have made a video on one app was there. I'm forgetting the name of that app, right? So yeah, I got it. So that was the Slack integration. So Slack integration, you have to enable first the plugin. The moment you will enable the plugin, it will give you a various option to perform the activity. Basically what they are doing in the spokes, they have already designed predefined steps for you. You just go and use it. Let's say for this out of box scenario, if I will ask you to create a incident, and for that ServiceNow has already given you to that option action. So same way for integration hub, basically what third party is doing, they have already created a flow designer for you and action for you. You have to just use it to communicate with the third party, right? So to get a more details on the integration hub related stuff, you just please go and watch my integration series. Over there I have just mentioned the Slack integration, right? Fifth point which I have written, that reduce the cost for development. Definitely, guys, if code is less, we are not writing any code, then definitely it will reduce the development effort and the cost. If it is reducing the development effort, then definitely it will reduce the cost for the development, right? And last one I have written that, guys, easy to maintain low code or no code policy. As I said earlier, that means your ServiceNow is moving towards low code and no code policy. So in Flow Designer is one of the those example. Fine. I'm hoping these are the benefit we will be getting. So these I'm covering it because it is required when you will give an interview. Then definitely interviewer is going to ask these questions. That means why we are going to use the Flow Designer over the workflow, all the steps. So you have to be ready for that. And the next thing which I'll be discussing, guys, that is the third topic of flow designer versus workflow. So I have just given a little bit concept over here. That means it is always good practice to go with the flow designer, as I said earlier. That means, but in the some cases, still of workflow is needed. So in the complex scenario, basically, I can say the workflow is required instead of a flow designer. So when and which scenario we can use the flow designer, and in which scenario we can use the workflow, based on my understanding which I have written, that the first thing, if we are working on earlier release of Kingston, so if you are working still release earlier release of service now, like before Kingston, then definitely you have to use the workflow concept. Before Kingston, their flow designer was not introduced, so you have to go with the workflow concept over there. If we have to write a very complex workflow, then definitely on that case it is a recommended approach to go with the flow workflow concept, because you will be getting a many option to write a complex query in flow designer. Basically it's a drag and drop kind of facility. So definitely in flow designer also you will be having a script tag over there. You can write a script, but if you are too much complicated design which you are going to implement, on that case it is recommended approach to go with the workflow. Maybe 2 years down the line, maybe ServiceNow will introduce those kind of flexibility to have it in the flow designer, but now we have to go with the workflow. And if the third point which I have written, that if required to be change in the logic. So if you have already built in the workflow, and you are in the like latest instance in like a quebec you are in, and you want to design, or you just need to tweak your logic and the workflow, you the flow you have written that is in the workflow, on that case guys it is recommended approach to just go with the workflow concept itself. Don't try to introduce the flow design over there. It might break our separate functionality. Right, guys? So, yeah. So, till third topic I have covered in this video. If I will cover more, then this video will be too long. So, in next video, I'll be covering access to Flow Designer, how we can get access and how we can give access to our managers, because it's not recommended to give admin access to everyone who can design the flow, right? We will talk about these access to flow designer and other topics. We have many topics which is pending that we will be talking about and in the next video. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, this video is the continuous of a previous video of Flow Designer overview, right? In first video, I was talking about the different aspect of Flow Designer overview, right? We have covered what are the benefits, why Flow Designer is required over the workflow, and workflow is going to be deprecated soon, but when it is not yet announced by the service now, all the many things we were talking about, right? So it is easy to understand. The way I have explained, guys, it is very easy to understand. Please go and watch that first if you have not watched it. So this is the just a continuous of the previous video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the how we can give access to our any developer or manager if they are asking to give access to flow designer and they wanted to design a flow, right? So now the first thing, the access which you are giving, you should have a admin access, then only you can give any access, flow designer access to anybody. So the first point, administrator can grant user access to flow designer features into two-way. Right, the first thing, the you can just delegate your development permission, basically assign a flow designer a delegate development permission. And the second one is, guys, the by granting one or more role in the flow designer. So we will be talking about those roles. So what are the role which is required to design a flow, but this is the two way we can grant a flow designer access. Let's talk about the first one, that means delegated one. You know that the delegated means you delegated word itself explaining, that means you have to delegate your development activity to someone, right? So this ensure a delegated developers can only access the flow designer, guys. So how we can do so? So we will see that here the steps I have written that which we have to follow to provide the access. So this is the screen you have to come in. So in order to come this screen, you have to follow this steps here, guys. So first what you have to do, just you have to navigate to a studio. So let's do one by one in the practical scenario, guys. So I'm just going over here and typing a studio. So where is the system and studio? Here I'm just going, and you have to select any application. So let's say I'm selecting a ServiceNow help desk is the application, and let's say second one. This is the out of the box one. The next step which I have to do, the choose the application. I have already chosen the application which was the out of the box, and now go to file, manage developer. So here you have to go to file, and here we have to choose the manage developer. Hope it is visible for you guys clearly, right? So I'm just clicking here manage developer, and here this screen will appear. So this screen, once this screen will appear, next thing you have to do that the select the username from the using the developer name over here. So here the developer filters name over came over here. So if you want to grant access for the flow designer, you have to type the name. So let's say able tutor. I'm just giving access to able tutor. So these are the options here. It's came guys. So whatever the steps you want to define over here, there are others access also it is there. That means you can just give the integration access, mobile studio, service catalog. But we are this time interested with the flow designer. So I'm just going to give a flow designer access to them. If you want to give any others access, then you can have here. If you want to give access for flow also, they can do so. But here in this case, in this video, I'm going to give only the flow designer access. Fine, I will save it. Simple as that. So this is the simplest step which you have to follow to grant the delegated development way to any users so that they can start writing the flow. The second way, guys, via the granting roles to users so that they can access via the navigation view. So navigation view is I'm talking about this guys. So let's talk about what is the next step we have to do. I have explained this guys, right? Now the roles before granting a role, so we have to understand what are the role which is required to access the flow designer, and they can have a right permission, they can create any flow from the scratch, right? So this is the second way for granting flow designer access via the role. So there are three role which is provided by the base system, I can say. And one more thing, guys, I think I have forgot to mention in the first video. I just said this is the base system module, so there is no plugin required to be activated. Okay, by default, the plugin would be activated for the flow designer. You just start using it if you'll have a admin access. The first rule is, guys, that flow designer. This role enable user to launch the flow designer, create and edit flow and subflow. So this role is help you to create and update, edit, or I can say this will help you to create all the things, all the activity in flow designer, right? Second role is there, guys, flow operator. This role enable user to view flow execution dashboard and logs. So once I will start showing you the how flow designer works in the actual scenario over here, then you will understand this flow operator role. Because if let's say if your manager wants to see how it is getting executed, they don't want to create flow from the scratch, but they want to see the execution logs or the dashboard which is related to flow designer, then this role you have to grant them access. The third one and is action designer. This role enable user to launch an action designer environment and create and edit action. So as I said, like in the very first video, I was talking about that we can create our own action. So if you want them someone to create a action, custom action, edit and update something, then you have to give them that access to them, right? So that is the action designer role, it is there. So this is the two way, guys. This is a very simple, and you know that the best way to do is that create a one group and assign these three role to that group and grant make a member of if let's say if you want to give access to X person, then you have to just make a member of that flow designer group, which we have already enabled this role to that group, right? Fine. So next topic which we have for this video is the how to create a flow. So it's as I said, like I'm starting from the very scratch. If you know the basic concept of flow, then you might you have to wait for the my upcoming video. But this video which I'm making, this is the second video on the workflow, so flow designer. So it will help for those who doesn't understand the flow designer concept and never used, and they are learning it first time. So it will help them to understand how we can create a flow in ServiceNow, right? If you have already created flow in ServiceNow, then this might not help you much, but if you want to stay, then it's good. You will get a better clarity. It might definitely you will get a better clarity after watching this. So let's see how we can create a flow. So what you have to do, just I think once you have given the permission, once delegated development position or flow designer role granted, you can launch the flow designer using the studio or the application navigator. So as I said, like in the both way you can create a flow. One is the studio way and the second one is the application navigator way. So I am going to showcase you the both way how we can create a via a studio via and application view. Right, so let's see first with the studio how we can do so. So same process again you have to follow. You have to go to the studio and you have to select the application, and this time you have to choose the create application file. So let me go it right away, guys. So what I will be doing, I'll be typing a studio. So here is the one, and here I'll be clicking. So here it will ask me to select the application. Let's say I'm selecting this application. So this page will be redirected to me, and the last step which you have to do, that the choose create application file. So here is the create application file is there. So here you have to select it. It might be visible for you guys. So this is the one. Let me just do it. So this is the one, guys, you have to select it. Fine. So let me click on this. So it will redirect to this page, create a application file over here. So what you have to do here, you have to just type of flow. So because otherwise you have to look for the flow here in there are several others option also there. So just type of flow so that you will be getting a result, filter result over here. Just click over here and here is it is there. Let me just down, it would be there. I will just make it. As you can see here, create option is now enabled for me. So I have selected. If I will say create, then one new window will appear to you, and on that new window it will ask you whether you want to create a flow or subflow. This time we are interested for the flow, so I'm just selecting a flow. Say the service now has given, that means so what does it mean by the flow. If you want to read it out, you can read it out over here. I just click on the next button. So this will give you the option to select your flow name over here. So let's say I'm saying a test, and by default this application is got selected because we are under the this application. So as I said, it's a best practice to create a flow under the application on which you are working on. So just simply click on the submit button, it will create a flow. So this is the first view you will be seeing after creating a flow. So this is the one way, guys, we can create a flow, right? And the second way we can do that is the what you have to do, you have to just go to navigation view. Let me just reset the this option, and here what you have to do, just type designer, or you can just type a flow. Then the first option it will be coming under the process automation, that is the flow designer. Just click on this. I'm just clicking on the new windows so that it will sorry, I'm just clicking on this link so that it will open in new window, and here we will be redirected to the page. We'll be discussing some more on what is flow, subflow, action, execution. So these are the flow means here it will be a list of your flow. As of now, whatever the flow is created, it will be giving you the list. And here is the subflow. If you have created any subflow, then this will be a list. If you have the actions, so all the action list will come over here. Executions, it will come. Connection, same way it is there. So this time we are interested for the flow. So here the right side on the top corner we have an option to create a flow. So how we can, this is the new option guys, we have to select it. So if I will select on the new, it is giving me option to create a flow, subflow and action. We will be talking about each and every options over here, but for this time I'll be interested for the creation of the new flow, right? So we in the upcoming video, and in my subsequent video I'll be talking about the how we can create a subflow and the actions, right? So now this time let's create on the click on the flow, the same page, as you can guys see here, it is appearing the way we have designed from here, right? So same way again we have to give the your flow name and the description if you want to give. I will be talking about in these details in upcoming video, the application and how we can protect your this flow. You can just give here is the runtime, run as who use initiate the user who initiate the session, or the system users if you want to run it, then you have to provide it this way. You just submit it. So by default just let it be like this and submit it. Fine guys, so this is the very simple way. So this was the first way to create via the studio application. The second way it was from the navigation application navigator view. I have showcased you the all the way you can do so, and here I have explained you as well. That means it would be a landing page, and here you will be getting an option same way I have showcased you, right? Now let's move on the new, and we will talk about some properties which is required. Let me make it little bit bigger so you will understand. So this will be the your first page once you will land up. So let me just go over here and let's say test to something I'm just giving, and I'm just creating the flow over here. So as you can see here, this is the home page which I'm right now showing you from my design and document. This is the screen you will be getting. I have already created for some workflow, so that's why it is coming like this. So don't worry guys, so we will be talking each and every step in my upcoming videos. So now let's understand the things over here. That means what are the options which we have right now. So as you can see here, so let's say this is the plus icon, create a new flow. So if you will click over here, it will ask give you option to create a new flow directly. So no, as I said, this is the single view we will be getting it to do all the activity which is related to flow designer, right? So the first option here, it is giving you to create a new flow, and here this will indicate you that this is the active indicator. That means whether it is active or inactive. So here right now this flow is inactive, but the which I have taken a screenshot, that time it was active. So here it is showing the active. Fine, the next one is the property guys. So it will show you the property. So again same screen will come up over here. This is the first time we have filled it. So same, if you want to change it or the protection mode or this role with something, then you just go ahead and do the properties change over here. Test execution, so as of now test is disabled over here because this is not active. So once we will make this active, then this test will be enabled to perform our testing. As I said guys, so this is the fantastic way. You have to not go anywhere else to perform your testing once you will build your flow design, right? Once you will define your flow. This option, it will give you the see the list of the execution. So once you will see how execution it is happening a step by a step. Once you'll click it over here execution button here guys, in this execution button, then we will see how this flow has executed. Activate the flow, so this will give you the option to activate the flow, and once you will be activated, then it will the second button will be appear for you to deactivate the flow. So this is just a button to activate and deactivate the flow designer. And this last option which we have, that is the save action. After building your steps, or after doing any customization or changes, we have to save the workflow, right? So here we have an option to save the flow designer. Right, so this will be your trigger the flow. So here let me show you, this is the trigger options which we have right now. So plus icon, we will click on this, then it will ask to choose the action over here, right? So this will be a trigger, and here the second will be the action over here. So as you can see here, this entire screen is the trigger point, and the second one is the action. Once this flow will get triggered, what would be the action we will be performing, we can see it over here. And the right side guys, here we will be seeing the all the data which is related to this trigger condition which we have chosen. So let me showcase you right away that let me go back to our document. So here as you can see here, I have selected it. This is for the change request guys. So here the all the data, available data will present. You just need to drag and drop kind of facility, so it will start working, right? So this is the, I hope you are clear with this, and still if you will have any doubt, definitely you can reach out to me. I'm just moving out to next screen. Then let me just make it 100. Now, so this was the property as I said. So if you will click on the property, this screen will appear. So here the first thing that it's so self-explanatory, I can say. Here you have to specify the name guys. So in this flow name, you just give the name of the flow which you are going to design. Let's say you are going to design a flow for incident, then you have to give a convenient name to understand, hey, this flow is for the incident and this is for a specific purpose. And in the details, in the description, you can just define in the details, that means what is the purpose for this flow, like that you can define it, so that anyone else can come to this flow, then they can understand, okay, so this flow is designed for this purpose only. Application, this is the scope guys. So in which scope you are creating this flow designer here, from this drop down it can be defined over here. So right now this flow is under the ServiceNow now mobile app knowledge applications, right? So if you want to create a global, then you can just select the global over here, fine. Now the protection guys, here it will come the read only. So whether you want to protect it via the read only, or whether you want to leave it as available for everyone, then you just leave it for the action as a protection as a none. Run as indicate, that means user who initiate the session. So let's say this flow you are going to apply on the incident table, and I'm going to create a incident, right? So the moment I'll create an incident, if I have selected this option user who initiate the session, so uh, based on the my users, it will initiate the workflow basically. System user means guys, it will define based on the system users. It will not take my name if I'm creating a any incident, because this flow is associated, going to be associated with the incident one. So it's a better always good practice to have a run as a user who initiate the session. On top of that also, if you want to define, that means a user who initiate the session, who should have a role, this role like ITL role or something role, then only initiate the session, then you can on that scale you can choose it over here, fine, and then click on the update. So it will updated the your properties. Fine, guys. So now the next one, that means process flow processing, how it will internal. This is the for advanced knowledge, I can say, guys. You have to understand how flow designer is processing your request. So a step by a step we can understand. So let me make it little bit bigger over here. Okay, so let's understand one by one. So here the first time when your flow designer is attached with any ticket, then what it will does that the scheduler create an entity, sorry, entry in the event queue to start the flow. So this is the first step system will take to miss. They are running a scheduler and which will create um, event in the event to start the flow in the event queue, right? So here I have written that the scheduler creates an entry in the event queue. Event queue is know that it's a table over there. It will create one entry to start the flow. The second steps system will take that the system processes the event and start the flow in the background. So once the we have created the entry in the event queue table, then system will process those events and start the flow in background, right? And the third step, it will follow that the system build a process plan from the flow. So internal it will build a process plan how they are going to process which just now they have started the flow. That one for they will build a process plan. Fourth step, it will take that using the record that trigger the flow, the system run the process plan. So using the record that trigger the flow, so which record is going to associated with the flow, that will get identified over here, and the system must run the process plan. Against that, it will run the process plan. And the last step that system will take, that the system store the execution details in the context record. So this once the execution is done, then it will store the all the execution details, so that you can see over here in the execution button. Once you click it, it will store over here in the flow itself. Fine, guys. So I hope you understood. Definitely, I'm going to take one more session on the processing flow in depth. So in my upcoming video. So don't worry if you will not understand. Then it's okay. If you will watch it, I have tried to make you understand as per my level. But if you still have some doubt for flow processing, then please reach out to me over the Telegram channel. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. In my next video, I'll be talking about the how we can build a flow. There are many things to go on, right? So we will be starting a building a flow. So till here, I have covered only that overview of the flow designer. So next topic which I am having for this series, that is the building, start building a flow, right, guys? And once we'll have completed the our flow, how we can build it, how we can understand the several aspect to build a flow, then we will talk about the live example with the business requirement, based on the business requirement and the different use case, of course. Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, this is the third video of Flow Designer series. In first two video, I have talked about Flow Designer overview. I have covered the many concept about it. That was the theoretical discussion I had, right? So if you have missed it, if you have not watched the first two video, it's recommended to watch that first in order to understand the flow from the basics, right? Because I'll be receiving a many requests that hey Runjay, I didn't understand this concept or those concepts, so because of you will be missing or you will be skipping the video, right? So I'm hoping if you are watching this video, I'm hoping that you have already gone through my previous two video and you are continuing with this video, right? Before going to start, guys, it's a humble request that please do like and subscribe my channel if you have not yet liked and subscribed. Thank you. And for any doubt, technical hurdle clearance, you can, you know that where you can reach out to me. I have a Telegram group that group name is ServiceNow Help Desk. You can join there and you can clear your doubt, and if you have any technical hurdle while watching my videos. Right, so let's just start now. So in this video, mainly I'll be talking about how we can create a flow from the very basic. This is the practical example we will be discussing over here. So you know that where to go, we have to type flow in the left navigation, and you will be finding the flow designer menu. Just click on this, you will be redirected to new Windows, and here all the flow will display. So this time we are going to create a brand new workflow, right? So here option is there, flow. I have already discussed this in my previous video also, but this is specifically for creating a flow, so I'm discussing again. So here we have to provide the name, so let's this time provide a very specific name, uh, incident demo, something I have provided. So we'll will update incident based on conditions, right? I have just given the some description for this, and I'm going to create this work flow in the global application. So I have selected the global protection. I'm going to leave it as a none, and the run as I'm going to leave it as a who user who initiate the session. So all good, all set. I've already discussed in detail in my previous video. So I'm submitting over here. You will be redirected to this canvas. This whole page itself, it's called as a canvas. So this is the one user interface I can say over here. We will be performing each and every activity. Right. So we have clicked it. This first point, which is to create a flow. So here I have just guided you. You have to just go to left navigation and look for the flow designer. Here will be redirected. Fine, we are done with this. Same thing I have written over here. Next is the configure the flow trigger condition. So that is a very important one, guys. So this is the flow trigger conditions. So here we have to click on the plus icon, and then you will be asking system will ask you to give some input. Sorry guys for fumbling. Okay, so here for trigger condition, basically same thing I have written, which I'm going to showcase over here, that you have to click on the plus icon in order to do that. But to in order to make a trigger condition, you have to first create the flow, right? That's obvious. Fine. So before starting our trigger condition, let's understand the trigger type which we are having right now. So here there are three types of trigger types there in the service now. That first one is the record based, second one is the schedule based, and the third one is the application based. So basically record based will be used whenever you are want to perform some operation based on the record insertion, updation, or something. So same thing I have written, guys. So flow run after a record is created or updated, the flow can use the trigger record as an input for the action. So we can use get created whenever let's say I want to run a flow, if a record is created or updated or both it is happening. So same like a business rule when you want to run it. So same over here it will also get applied. Fine, the example over here for record based is the create, update, sorry guys, and created or updated. So these three option falls under the record based. Schedule based, we have like something you want to schedule a flow like a monthly basis or daily basis, the way we do usually do for the scheduling, right? So we can schedule a flow also for a repeated kind of work. If you want to run the flow on the daily basis, just design a flow so that it will run on the a specific time and the date on the daily basis, right? Third one we have, that is the application based, guys. This will help you to uh, trigger a notification when kind of SLA is reached to 50%, 60% or something like that. Based on your business need, you can configure, right? And it will help you to configure your inbound action as well, inbound email integration that is there, so you can configure over here. And the third one, it will help you to do a service catalog choices also, right? So we'll see one by one. So this is the screen you will be getting after clicking on the plus icon. So same thing over here I written. So let's configure it first, our trigger action. So what I wanted to do, I was discussing this record based, and the second one is mm, the first one which I was talking about the record based. Third one, second one I was talking about the data, sorry, not data, date wise. And the third one I was talking about the application wise, right? So the third one over here, it is the applications. So in record, we have a three option that we can create, update, or created or updated. So some syntax here, text is also written. You can read it out. So daily basis, if you want to schedule this flow, you can just mention the daily. Here you have just specify the time, and weekly, monthly, it is there. I repeat. So the way we can design our schedule, here also the same thing is there. Application SLA task, it will run. Don't worry guys, I will be taking a separate video for each application type, SLA task, inbound email, and the service catalog. And these are the very common ones. So I'm just going to take an example of the created or updated one, right? So here I'm saying, hey, run the flow if record is getting created or updated in the both cases. So here and now system is asking to select on which table you want to run this flow, right? So let me select the incident. Incident is very common, so I'm also using the incident. It easy to understand because most of the you folks understand the incident module. So I'm going to apply this flow on the incident. So whenever incident is getting created or updated, run trigger, here I'm saying it will run only one time. We will take an example for all these options, like for each unique change. So whenever unique change is happening on the form, that time if you want to run it, then you just mention over here. Only if not currently running, if it is not currently running, then you can attach it, means it is also kind of one time activity and it will not run if you are doing a update, right? For every update is something that means whatever changes you are doing, it will um, on every update it will trigger the flow, right? So let's go for run trigger as a once. I don't want to run multiple time, but whenever insert or update is happening, I want to run this flow, right? So this will be my trigger point. In the advanced section, we can see over here when to run the flow. Run for both inactive or non-inactive some session is there. Only run for non or interactive session. These options is there, so just go with the default one. No need to change all these things. Run for any users, so this has to be there. It should not be a very specific user this flow should run, right? But if you on top of that, if you have a such kind of restriction, that means your flow should run on very specific users, then you just select something like do not run for trigger by the following users, then you have to select the users over here, right? So let it be run for all the users, and run only on current table and run only on the extended table. So these option, you know that what does it mean by extended table? If some table is extending incident table and you want to run it on those table also, then you have to make this option selected. Fine. Where to run the flow? Run flow in the background. Definitely, you just choose this option. Run flow in the background. Run flow in the front end means foreground means it will run in front of you, right? Something. So let it be run the flow in the background, and let it be have the activity the way we want to be. Fine. Fine. So here, I hope I have not changed anything. Fine. So let click on the done. So we are done with the trigger conditions, right? Anytime you can come and we can click over here in this link, then it will again open whatever the setting we have done. It will showcase again. Fine, done. And now here is the save option. We can click on the save button so that we should not lose our changes. Here now it got saved. Now the second things which we have to do, that we have to configure the action. We are done with the this trigger condition and we have created the flow. The third thing which we have to do, that we have to configure the actions, right? So for actions, guys, let's understand little bit of theoretical knowledge also. For we have a like you know that like a service now give out of box functionality, right? So for this actions in the flow also, they have given some core actions which is given by service now, that we are calling it as a out of the box option, and that cannot be modified. You cannot modify it, right? The second things which I want to highlight, that by default system will allow you to have a 50 actions in one workflow, right? It's not necessary, that means you should not have more than this, but if you are increasing this limit, then definitely it will slow down the service now performance. So make sure that means in one workflow you are going to have max to max 50 actions. If it is required like the 55, definitely you have to increase it. And how you can increase it, this is the property. You have to go here and just type sys properties that list. It will open the properties table, system properties table, and look for this properties. As you can see here, this right now value is 50. If you want to have more than 50, then you just change it, this value from 50 to your x value. Fine, so as of now, we are not going to increase. So here, this is the recommended. I will also recommend you to don't increase this limit. If you are increasing, then you will be responsible for slowing down the service now performance. Fine, so let's talk about something core actions which we have right now. So we okay, service now have categorized these core options in the three categories. The first one is the core system, second one is the global, and the third one is the application. We can see over here as well that once we'll click over here, then we have a action over here. Once we'll click it, then here we can see that first thing we will be seeing the ServiceNow code. So these are the actions which we are which we can use, that is there out of box. Okay, and the application is something which is related to like if you are using any custom application, let's say ITSM is the one which we can use for the application, because ITSM is a one application, right? It will help you to create or update, change, problem, incident or something, right? So as you can see here, these are the actions which is out of the box percent, but this has been categorized as a application. Now the third one is the global one. So we have a global action also which is available, which we can be which we can use based on our business requirement, right? So same thing I have categorized over here: core system, global, and the application. The one thing, guys, sometime you will be most of the time we will be using this flow designer for the integration hub, right? Not most of the time, but if you are trying to talk with the third party system, the easiest way to integrate with the integration hub. So basically what integration hub does, I will give you a little bit insight on this, because I have already covered a separate video. I have already made a separate video on the integration hub, and I have integrated with the Slack channel, right? So Slack channel is nothing but a spokes. That is Slack is a one a scoped application. Once you will enable the plugin, it will give you option to like this. ITSM is the one application like this. You will be getting, the moment you will enable the plugin, then it will come under the integration hub, and here you will be seeing the a spoke called Slack, right? So based on the that, let me click it over here. So as you can see here right now, the first option itself, it is saying the Slack. So like this you will be having a many spokes, so that you will be getting a out of the box action to perform your activity, right? So let's say if you want to post something incident data to Slack channel, then on that case, Slack, once you'll enable it, then you will be having an option to use that kind of message posting. So application scope are called spokes basically. So if it is a scoped application and if they have a actions defined on that, then those actions are called spokes. I hope you got it. So here also I have written a spoke is a scoped application containing flow designer content dedicated to a particular application or the record type. So this will like we can build our scoped application and we can design our actions on that, and we are calling it as a spoke, right? We can also do so. So in upcoming video I'll be might writing that kind of a scoped action. So yeah, if it is uh, requested approach, means if I will receive many requests from you people, then definitely I'll be making a video on those as well. But as of now I have not taken that as a scope. But yeah, for if you require, then definitely I will make it. So for example, here as I have already explained that ITSM is a spoke because it will belongs to only the action which is these are the actions which is only related to ITSM. So we can call it as a ITSM spokes. Fine, and here I have already explained that we have a core, we have a system spoke, we have a global. Here we have a spoke available by the store or plugin. So basically a spoke most of the time when I was talking about the integration hub, so these are the basically a paid plugin. You have to pay it, then only it will be enabled. Right now in the PDI it is not available, so you have to purchase it in order to perform your job, right? So I'm not going in details, so I hope you are clear now. So let's start using our one core action over here. So I will be just going over here, ServiceNow core, and I'll be saying, hey, create or update something. I want to update the record, right? So here I will be getting a one option. This is an action called update record, right? So let's click it, and here the option it is asking action is update record. The here it is asking for which table you want to update it. So here we have a incident record because the trigger condition is we have a configure for the incident, right? So we are going to update the incident. So as I said, like flow designer means flow. If you are using a flow, means you have a flexibility to drag and drop. So let's say here I want to use this incident record. So what I will be doing, just simply holding my left right key of the mouse, and I'm just dragging it over here. As you can see here, now it will become a trigger condition incident record. By default table got selected. This is the one way. The second way we can do that, here in this data pill picker is one option that it will help you to bring the your pick the your data, which data you want to pick it from the conditions basically. So here is the data picker. So same thing it is happening. So if I will select it, as you can see here, trigger incident record. So it's up to you how you are configuring your workflow. And the way I like it, that drag and drop, and this option also is cool, and this is not something that means you cannot use it, but people like a drag and drop facility more, so you just drag and drop it over here. So what data we want to update? So here we will be selecting the field. Let's say I want to select the field assign to. By default assign to, I want to select as a, let's say whenever ticket is getting created, it has to assign to some person. So before that we have to select the assignment group, right? So we are selecting the assignment group, and by default let's say it should assign to service desk team. So here I've selected the service desk. Fine. If I want to give some value, or let it be only one field, so here I'm just saying done, right? So if I will save it, it got saved. Now the other things which you have to, that we have to activate it. So here I'm just going to activate this. Only this is the simple flow which we have designed, because this is our first flow. Going forward, we will be designing a very complex flow, but this time we have only taken whenever insert or update happen on the incident table, just assign the ticket to a service desk group. So let's create an incident ticket and we'll see whether it is our flow is working or not. So yeah, here I have opened it, and let's select some users over here, and I'm just passing a test over here, and I will be not selecting the assignment group, and I will say save. Right, so now I have saved it, but since it is not assigned, let me refresh it. Yes, so it got assigned, right? So while insertion or updation, we have asked to run this flow and perform the activity the way we want. So right, in simple flow we have asked them to just update the assignment group as a service desk. Right, so I hope you guys are clear. This was the our first flow which we have designed it. So definitely, if you will have any questions and if you will have any doubt, you can reach out to me at ServiceNow help desk or Telegram group. Right, so we have added the conditions, we have checked it, all this stuff we have already done. Here we have checked it, and now in the next video, guys, we will be talking about how we can do the scripting in the flow. So it will be going forward, as I said, guys, I will be starting from the scratch, from the very basic. Going forward, it will be little bit complicated one, so we will see how we can write the script if it is necessary, if client is giving you the complex requirement. Fine, guys. Thanks. See you in the next video. We will continue this flow again in the next video, and we will try to update some value on the uh, um, incident record. But that time we will be using a script. Thank you. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, in this video, I'm going to showcase you how we can write some simple script and little bit of complex script in Flow Designer in order to achieve the complex requirement. In last video, we have seen that how we can create a simple flow and how we can update the incident. So in this video, same flow I'm going to use it as a reference, and we will be continuing from there. So if you have not watched my previous video, please go and watch that first. So this is the kind of a continuous of my previous video. And before starting, guys, it's a humble request, please do like and subscribe my channel if you have not yet like and subscribe it. Thank you. Let's start now. So let me open the flow which we have used in our last session, and that was the name. I hope you remember the incident demo was our flow name which we have used it. Right, so here we have configured whenever insert or update happening on the incident table, this flow will get executed and this flow will start it, right? So I'm saying that update the record here, the action which we have configured in the last session, that it will update the assignment group. Now this time what I'm going to do, I'm just going to extend this action itself, that using a script I want to update some value, right? So how we can use it. And before that, guys, before jumping to directly to the working session over here, let's understand a little bit or theoretically as well. So here a scripting we can do the two way. So first one is the inline script and the second one is the transform functions. We can use it. We will see with the live example. Don't worry, guys, I will showcase you while doing a coding that how we can do the inline script as well as the transform functions, right? So when we can use it, right? So data, let's in the here I've written the data pills drag and drop feature makes our life easy to configure the actions, right? But What if you need to transform input data before it was added to a flow? So if let's say if you want to do some manipulation before a data added to a flow, then on that case definitely you have to write a script, guys. What if you needed a maths operation? If you want to do some kind of a maths calculation before updating or inserting a data, uh, before giving back to your flow, on that case definitely we have to use our scripting capability, right? So as I said, like two way we can write. First one is the inline script, and the second one is the transform map functions. Transform function, right? So inline script. Let's understand what is inline a script over here. The code, guys, which we are going to write in the JavaScript in the flow of actions, right? So here instead of choosing a data from using a data pill picker, we have to use this option to write a scripting over here. So I was talking about this option. So for the any data or any in the action, if we are writing a script, then that will be called it as a inline script, right? And the data transform up or a month operation are common examples over here. I have written down that it enable the simple data conversation or transformation without having to create a custom action or flow. So let's say something you want to do a manipulation, so instead of going on creating a custom actions, you can just write a sort of a script and your job is done. So this will help you to avoid writing a custom actions. Identify which input data a script affect. So using this you can identify which input data a script is affecting. Restrict access to a scripting feature to a user or group who are knowledgeable with the available ServiceNow API. So this kind of activity we can perform using a inliner script, right? So how we can do a inline script and how we can do a transform function. So first let's understand the inline script, and then we will jump to the our transform functions. Fine. So here itself now in my previous example I have showcased that we are updating default to assignment group to service date. Let's say something in the short description also we want to update it. So here I have selected the short description. Let me just move it this one. And this time instead of the data pill picker, I'm just going to write a script. So what I have done, let me just do it again for you over here. As you can see here, this mark you have to use it. So this is the action one. You have to use it for the writing a script. So once you'll click on this button, then you'll be represent with this area. That means from there you can write a sort of your JavaScript code. Fine. So I'm just taking an example. A ServiceNow itself is giving you example to how we can do so. So this is the code which will give you to get the input data from the table. So let's say let me open the incident side by side so that you will have a better clarity. So let's say this is our incident. So what I'm going to do, I want to read the short description field value. So how we can do so? So this is the syntax for that. So first we have to use this is the object ft underscore data dot trigger dot current. Current will help you with the current record, and the short description is the name. So for you just need to change this name. If you want to get the value from any columns, then you have to till here syntax is similar, and only you have to change that is the name of the field over here. So let's say I'm just trying to get this value from the short description, whatever the value it will be present over here, right? And a simple thing I'm going to do that you have to do the return return, right? Return, let's say short description, I'm just giving a simple example, guys. Okay, sorry. So here I'm just copying it, and plus I'm returning, let's say, a test. Okay, so every time what it will do that, every time it will read the short description value and it will append with the this text, right? We'll see that whether it is impacting or not. So let's close this now, right? So we have a scripted one. Now the so this we have to test it. Let's say click on the done. Let's save it, right? And again, because you have done the changes, so in order to affect the changes you have to click on the update, right? I'm going to create a ticket over here. Let's say I'm selecting this guy, and here I'm selecting a let's say 1 2 3 4 5 something, right? And I will be saving it. Did you see, guys? So here we have only given the input 1 2 3 4 5. This text we have hard coded in the script, right? In the flow designer, in the flow we have hard coded over here, right? If you will see over here, so first we are reading the value and then we are appending with a test, and we are just returning to whole string over here, right? So this is getting appended. So using this script you can, and here you can write your logic, what based on whatever the kind of data it will help you. This is a like a current is used, so this is a server side script. You can perform any kind of operations, right? Now, so this was the inline script. This is called the inline script which we have written. We can perform our job at the way business want and based on the business requirement. Fine. Now the second thing which I was talking about, that transform functions. So how we can use the transform function and what it used for, when it will give benefits to use the transform functions. So let's understand first, that means how and where we can apply our transform function. So let's understand with the example itself. Let's say I wanted to um, update the short description, sorry, description this time, right? So we have a description, and the description uh, we are going to collect it from the short description. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select from the short description this way, and here I'm just going to write a short description. Fine. So here in this description, I'm just first I'm trying to copy from whatever the in the description, sorry, short description would be there. That same has to copy to the description field. But on top of that, I want to perform some operation over here, like a functions. We want to apply predefined functions. So how we can do so? So here as you can see here, plus fx you will be getting over here. Once you will keep your mouse over here, then you will be seeing a option over here, plus fx, right? So you have to click on that. It will only applicable if you are um, selecting the field from the dill picker, data pill pickers. Okay, it will not apply for the your this one here. It will not get apply for a scripting. It will not get apply. So make sure that means you are using a data pill picker to apply your function. So let me click it and we'll see what are the available functions it is there, right? So here we can do the, here it will suggest you the suggested transform. You can apply it over here. So these are the suggested one, but it's up to you. It's your choice what operation you want to perform. So here is the one, right? So I just want to perform a single string functions. This is basically a predefined functions which we can apply. So here I'm saying, hey, just convert the whatever the string it is there into the uppercase. Okay, so here I'm just clicking to the to uppercase, and here I'll be getting an option to apply it. But before that, guide what this function does, here you can just read it out. So ServiceNow has explained a very willed manner. That means if you are unknown to the function, it will clearly say what input it will accept and what output you will be getting. Right, so here I'm just saying the to uppercase, convert the whole string to the uppercase, and I will say apply. Fine, so I have applied it, and now this, as you can see here, now it's come in the bold. So it now our functions is applied over here. So transform functions is applied on the description over here. So in this, what is the expected output? I'm saying whatever the short description value is there, that has to copy into the description field with the uppercase, right? So let me save it, and we'll save the whole flow. And as of now, as you can see here, let me just refresh it. We don't have any description over here, right? So still it is loading. So yeah, it's done now. So we have to just update it basically. So yeah, as you can see here, after refresh in the description, nothing is there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say that this is the one. I'm just going to update anything so that it will, because our flow will run based on the update or insert, right? So I'm just saying update. Right, so this time what it will happen in the description section, it should come the whatever the data is present over here, and it should be in the uppercase, right? Oh, something is didn't work. Description, it is not coming over here. Okay, let's see. Oh, we forget to activate over here. Still it is deactivated state, so we have to activate it. So last time we have only saved it, we forget to activate it. So I'm just activating, and we will again update the record so that it will impact the our incident, right? So as you can see, this also didn't work because our uh, flow was not activated. As you can see here, now it's got activated, and this time let me just select some services, anything like let's say I'm just selecting a phone. I will say save. So this time it should update the description, but it should be in the uppercase, right? So let me refresh it. I'm hoping that it should update it. Oh, again it didn't. What happened? Let me check again, guys. So here the script which we have given. Okay, returning the school and the incident description. What trigger condition which we have given? Update and okay, fine. And okay, I will go this update short description. Okay, so what I'm going to do, instead of that, I'm going to select some other attribute, maybe because of some issue would be there. So this time what I'm going to do, assignment group, I'm selecting a assignment group over here, and not the assignment group. We have to select the assignment group name because we want to perform some function on the string value. So I will go assignment, insert the assignment group, and I'll be looking for the name, right? So this will give the our a string value, and then I will apply a function. So this time what I'll be doing, I'll be applying a functions to uppercase, right? Same thing I'll be applying over here. I've just applied it, so as you can see here, it's there now, and let me save it. I'm hoping this time it should work. And here I have to say activate. Fine, so let's update something. Here service desk is there. So basically this time it will pick this value and it will update it over here, right? So in progress. Hey, come on, yeah, it's not working. Something we are missing. Okay, okay. Why it is not working? It should work on description, so description. Let me do troubleshooting in front of you guys itself so that you will also come to know, because we will be missing some steps. Even this one is not working. So test, fine. This is okay. Incident record assignment group and the name and then description we are updating it, right? Fine. So it's look like, let me do it once again. So description value, this time I'll be picking some different record. Okay, and this time I'll be picking a assigned to name. So assigned to name is there, name. Fine, and then I'll be applying a function to it, right? Oh, yes, so let's apply the function. Suggested function is there. I will go to string and to uppercase. I'm hoping this time it should work. And let me save it. Before activating it, I will re-verify it over here. It's already applied. Fine. Activate it. Fine. So let me do it again. Let me update some values over here. Let's say I will say not resolved. I will change the some priority. I will just update it here. Okay, work note is required. Test, and then I'm just updating. I'm hoping this time it should work. Okay, because assigned to value is not present, so it didn't work. And here I'm just selecting assigned to, and let's see this time again didn't work. I think we have. Let's do a troubleshooting. The best part, this was my next session to do a troubleshooting, but here we can check it. That means flow test, how we can test it. So let's click on the test. Here we'll just give the incident and we'll see how we can test it over here. So run test. It's executing and we'll be clicking over here so that we will see where it is giving what result, right? So here test or description, and the description section it is coming this, and output data record table. So assignment group is this 1 2 3 test. It is giving test. As you can see here, it value is coming over here. Here I can see that it is appending test after test, and short description is coming test, right? So right side value is coming. Then what is issued? This. I think some issue is there with this. It's not working. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this option. I don't know why it is not working. This one, and I will just test it again whether this short description one is working or not. And let me just pause this video. I will do the troubleshooting and let me check. Otherwise, this video will be little bit longer. Okay, I will come back again. Hmm. Okay. Here I'll be selecting new. Yes. Hello guys, I'm back. So there was a issue while triggering because our flow was not getting trigger over here. So I have selected once because this was getting executed only one time. So instead of one, I have selected the for every update over here. So this is the only change I have done, and it start getting updated over here. So let's say I have already done this changes. Now it is available. So let me just do it from the fresh. So let me create it new event incident so that you will be have a good idea. Okay, so here I have selected and here I have just given the one to something, right? And the assignment group which I have given, let me not give the assignment group right now. We'll save it. We'll see what it will happen. Fine, so and this time it will update the service desk and it's got updated over here also, right? This is working fine. But the second condition which we have given that it should update the description whatever the value is selected over here. So let me select this guy and we'll update it, right? So if I will update it, Then as you can see here now, as expected result, this is also got updated. Till here it was there, and this is the new one. And the description which we got it, that we are taking a value from name from this assigned to field, and we are just calling a function to make that a string into the uppercase, right? So that is the functions we are using over here. Apply the transform list. We last time we have done the troubleshooting. For that troubleshoot, guys, that it works so same way. Here we can do the troubleshooting over here, right? So let me explain you how what we can perform over here. So once we'll do the run the test basically, then here it will show you. So this is the test flow in the designer which we can execute it, and these are the step, same step we have to follow. That here if it is something it is not working, you have to just do a troubleshooting and we have to do what kind of testing, right? So you have to click on this, and let's say if you are selecting this, and if I will execute again, then this flow will execute again, see, and we'll see what kind of output we are getting. And here just click on the link, and we'll see the trigger condition. It's perfectly okay. Here it is calling, this is the incident number, right? And the update actions here we will be getting, as you can see here now it's getting appended. This is the output one which we will be getting. And if you click on this, then you will be seeing over here raw data in the HTML, it is there. And raw data, if you'll see in the code, this way you will be getting, right? So this is basically updating. Assignment group is updating to this, short description is updating to this, and the description is updating to this, right? So value we are getting. If we are not getting value over here, then something it's wrong. So as you can see here, it got updated. You see the update mark over here, it is there. Hope you guys understand the concept. So let me give you the little bit details about the canvas on this. So here on top, it will show you the flow status, and here it will show you the access to flow log. So here one more option is there. We can go and we will see the log. So here this option, if I will click it, it will open in the log section over here. If data is there, it will bring over here, right? And the others option which we have, that the how much time it's required to execute it, this flow. So here you can see on the top over here, so there's 151 millisecond required to execute this flow. And open current record, if you want to open a current record, you can just click on this link, it will open over here in the flow itself. As I said, it's a beautiful feature, I can say. It is there here itself, it is showing you all the details. Still, if you want to open in the new, you just click on the open record, it will open in the new. Fine, so this is the target details which we are having related to incident, means the this one I'm talking about, the incident created or updated. This is the trigger conditions, and this is the action section which we'll having. Action section basically we will be getting a what kind of output we will be getting, right? And action time duration also we can check it over here. So I hope this is a self-explanatory, guys, that we can figure it out while running this stuff. As you can see here, it is coming. These are the input which we are getting, and these are the output which we are getting based on the running flow, right? In the next video, guys, I'll be talking about the live example. As I promised that I'll be taking a scenario like business case and many business case, and we will be executing. So first business case I have taken this one. So in next video I'll be showcasing you how we can design this flow fully. Fine, guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching this. Please do like and subscribe my channel. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, as of now in Flow Designer series, we have seen that how we can create a simple flow, right? And the basics flow and the steps which need to be followed in order to create a flow. I have already explained in my all previous 3 to 4 video, right? So let me recap as of now what we have covered and what else is pending in this Flow Designer series. So I have talked about Flow Designer overview in detail. So I have made out, I believe two video I have made on this that which will explain that means why we need and on which scenario a Flow Designer is required. Right, there are lots of information I have shared which will help you to clear your interview. Second, which I was talking about that build a flow. So I have followed the step by step. That means I have started from trigger condition, how we can design our accents, all these things I have explained it from the very basics, right? I hope you have gone through those video, and this video basically it is going to help you to understand the live example with the business requirement. So I have taken one business requirement. So this is our business requirement guide. So I'm going to implement this flow, this design flow using a flow based flow designer, right? So this is the, and then we will be talking about some out of the box options in the various cases, like use case. I will take various use cases which is required, we can build it. Okay, you can have a hands-on on those, right? And then guys I will be capturing the custom action. We can see how we can create a custom action, and then again advanced level of the implementation of your flow designer, right? So before starting guys, if you have not yet subscribed my channel, it's a humble request to please go and subscribe my channel and hit the button so that you will get a notification whenever I will upload the new video. Fine. So in this, let's talk about the business requirement, or what is the business requirement over here. That it is saying that the system should auto create a demand task and approval based on the conditions, right? So what is the conditions over here? I don't know. The numbering is false over here. Something. Okay. So let me change it to. Oh, I don't know why it is happening. Okay, let me just do it this way. Fine. So for the first condition is that if demand state moves from draft to submit a state, and then create an approval group, and the approval group is the demand manager with the condition if any of the group member reject, then demand should move to the deferred state. So the same thing I have designed a workflow over here. So basically your client will provide you this information and you have to design a workflow. If your client is providing a overall workflow, then it would be good to implement for you. If they are not providing, then you have to design it first and you have to get it approved from the client, right? So yeah, fine. So now let's start. And in this case, guys, I'm taking a table name called a demand. It's under the project portfolio management. So soon I'm going to make a video on the PPM module. So in this example, I have taken demand tables. Fine. So in order to enable the demand table in your environment, you have to enable the PPM plugin first. That I will talk later in other series. I'm going to make it, especially because I have received many requests to make a video on the portfolio management. Fine. So once I'm assuming that you have enabled the PPM module, and here you will search demand in the left navigation, then here you can see the demand module is enabled for me. I can create a demand over here. This is the form which looks like still, yeah. So this is the one I'm going to use it in our this business requirement. Fine. So first we have to create one flow. So you know that where to go, just type of flow in the left navigation and just click on the flow designer, right? Now here all the flow will list down over here. So simply we have to go over here and we will be creating a new flow, right? So I will say demand management, or we say demand approval flow, demand demo, I just mention it. Okay, fine. So it's up to you how you are mentioning it or how you are giving the name. Then, or we can mention the demand approval pro, whatever you want to mention it. I'm just giving a demand demo flow. Fine. And in this description, all this thing based on the your requirement, I have already explained in my previous video what are the details and when you will feel what, right? So this is our canvas, guys. So again, first thing which we have to do, that we have to configure a trigger, right? So let's trigger it, and what conditions they are giving, that demand submit, right? So our workflow should start if demand get submitted from draft to submit state, right? So here I'm saying here it should be created or updated, and here in this table section I will be selecting a demand, right? So the actual name for demand is dmn underscore demand, so I'm just selecting it over here, and we'll say it will run one, but the filter condition this time I'm going to apply, because we know that when we want to apply this flow to a demand, right? So I'll be saying if a state um, changes to submitted, right? So if a state changes to submitted, then this flow will execute. Fine. So this will be our trigger conditions. So here done, and now the second step which we have to follow, that we have to create action. So what actions we need to perform? So here it is saying if once demand is submitted, then we have to trigger a notification to demand manager group. So same thing I have written over here, guys. I'm just trying to explain it from the this design. So if demand got submitted from draft to submitted state, then two action we have to perform. The first thing, that we should trigger a notification to demand manager group. So first of all, we have to create a demand manager group. So for to save our time, I have already created a group. So let me showcase that as well. So as you can see here, I have created demand manager group and demand executive groups, two group which I'm going to use in this flow design over here, right? So first thing, so here we have to get send the notifications, and here we have to send for the approval, right? Now for sending approval, here we have to, let's first design the notification. So let's create over here, and here we can just look for the send notifications we have, right? So it's there, and I believe on this case we have to create a notifications as well. So to save our time, guys, I have already created the notifications as well. And if you don't know how to create the notification, I have already made a video on notifications, so please go and watch that first. So let me open the notifications. I will showcase you which notification it is. Let me just add created over here so that I can, even I don't know what was the name of the notification, I forget it. So what I'll be doing, I'll be just doing a J2A. So send notification to demand managers here. So this one, let me open it so that I can explain you what are the things I have configured. I'm not going to explain each and every steps for notification, but for what are the syntax we have used for this notification, I'm going to talk about those only. So because that is necessary, so when you will come to when to send section of the form, then you, instead of selecting a record inserted, updated, or event fire, you have to select the trigger condition over here, because I'm going to trigger this notification from the flow, right? So here the send when should be a triggered, and who will receive, here I have configured the demand manager, and this is the subject, and this is the little bit details I have given, right? We will see, we will cross verify whether email got sent from here or not, we'll see that. But first yeah, so let's copy this notification, and we'll go back to our flow here, right? Send notification. So first notification we have to, so okay, so first thing we have to select the demand over here. So I'm just doing a drag and drop because this is related to demand table. And here the notifications, I'm going to say only one and the moment I select the demand, so only one notification is configured for this demand, so it is coming the same one. Right, send notification. So we are done. So for notification, how we can configure the notification in flow? It's very simple. You have to create the notification as the way simply we can create from the left navigation. You just create it, and the when to send sorry, just configure to as a trigger so that you can trigger that notification from the flow. Right, we are till now. I hope it is clear to you. So I have configured the notification. In the same time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one more action which will send approval to the demand manager group, right? So not the demand manager group, yeah. So to demand manager group I have to trigger approval, right? So for that, under this core section, you just see the second option is there, ask for approval. So this action which we are going to use, so I'm just selecting over here, ask for approval. So first thing record which we have to fill, that is the demand over here, so that it will select the demand one. And here by default, the moment we will select the demand, by default it is coming approval field as a approval. It has to be approval only, don't change it. And the journal field should be a approval history, right? This is the default one, guys, so don't change it to this one. Fine, so here the approval, because we have a condition that I have written down the condition. Let me go back, and here I will say this conditions we have to satisfied with condition. If any of the group member reject, then demand should move to deferred state. So here we are asking that anyone, means anyone, if it is rejecting means we have to get our input from the all the group members, right? So here approves, when we have to define it over here that all users approve, right? If all users approve, then only we can say this demand is approved. Otherwise all sorry, it will get rejected if anyone is rejecting this flow or demand basically, right? So here we have to get the um, name of the your group, right? So here the by default option it is giving you to add the group. If you want to send a notification, sorry guys, if you want to send a notification to users, then here you can just add a users, and just from the picker you can just add it. But this time our requirement is to send it to a specific group, right? So if we want to send a notification to let's say something or demand, and whatever the assignment group is there on the demand, so let's say we have an assignment group, if we want to trigger whatever the selected over here, so this is not the condition in our use case scenario or the business requirement. It has to go to the static group member basically, right? So the group name, for that we have to define it from the here, right? So here we can add it manually, and here we it is asking for the group. So here I'm going to select a group, and that group is the demand manager, right? So here I have selected the demand manager, so that all the demand manager group member can approve. If anyone is rejecting, then demand will get rejected. If all are approving, then only it will demand will consider as a approved one. Fine. Due date, not keeping anything, just let it be none, as simple as that. Just we are asking for the approval from the group member. Fine, so this step is also done, and now the next step that it is asking, if all member approves, then create one task, one demand task, which should get assigned to a group called a demand executive, right? So this is the second step here it is saying. So once the demand is getting approved, till here we are done, right? So we have configured the notification, we have sent for the approval. Now if action is performed by the group member and it's a state that demand is approved, then we should create one demand task. And if anyone rejects or everyone rejects the demand, then it will come via this path, right? So let's configure first this. If demands get approved, then we have to create one demand task, right? So for that, what we have to do, we have to go for the flow logic over here, and we will be using if condition because we need to check whether the demand got approved or not, right? So we are just selecting the if condition, and here we will be selecting a demand one, right? Here the condition we can select it. So let's say, because this time output will come from the approval, right? So approval state it is then. So if approval state is, let's say, approved, then this is the condition I'm just putting it. So if it is approved, then what we need to do, else what we should do, that we can perform, right? So here it is saying, as you can see here, if approval state is approved, then we know that we have to create a demand task, correct? So here, just in the action, we just go here and we will say create a task, right? Here create a task is there already, this action is there. If it is not there, then definitely you have to go with the custom one. But if it is already there, then we can use that action over here. So create a demand task, create a task over here, and in this case we will be selecting a table. So in this case we wanted to um, create a demand task, right? So we have to select the demand task table over here. And now the moment we will select the demand task here, we are having an option to map the field. So let's say field name is short description, and in the short description I'm just saying test, and next variable we have to say that parent, because we have to map with the demand, right? So for parent we have to map with the this demand record, so that this task will get create under the this demand which we have opened it over here, right? And the second thing which we have to do, that assignment group which we have to assign it to the um, I have written somewhere, yeah, demand executive over here. So I'm going to say demand executive, so assigned it, right? So let me explain again once again. So here once the approval state that it is approved, then we are creating a task. So same way we are designing over here. If a demand got approved, then we are going to create a task, demand task. So here we are selecting an action called create task. This is the out of the box one. Here we are selecting, and the table name, we know that we have to create a demand task on the demand task table itself, right? So that it will get associated with your actual demand, your parent demand. And the short description, I'm just giving a test. If you want to bring some input from your demand table, you can also do so. You have to do that and this way. And let's say short description, so short description is on demand, it is not there. So maybe description would be there, yeah, description is there. It's up to you, but I don't want to do because I want to um, create a task for all here the executive group members, right? So here we will be doing it, create a task, right? And we will be assigning this task to this group member. Fine. So one task it has to be created over here. So this is the short description is the test I have given. Parent I have just attached it so that it will let me open it. So let me just create one test so that you will come to know that means what I'm talking about, the parent concept over here. So this is the demand, right? So once we will create a demand task, then it has to attach over here. So this one I'm talking about, I'm going to map this one, parent equal to whatever the record we have just now created, right? So if we are not mapping over here, then independently that demand task will get created. It will not get associated with any of the demand. We don't want to do that, right? Because the demand task which we want to create, if our condition satisfied, then we want to associate that demand task over here. Fine. So we are done over here. We can create a uh, task else. Now if this condition is not satisfied, then what it will happen, then this will follow this path, right? On that case, move demand to deferred state. So here we are going to create one action, and here we will be saying update record, right? In this, because we have to follow this, right? Because we want to move our demand to rejected state. So here where it is, okay, it's not there, then what we will do, we will go for over and demand record. Fine. So yeah, we got it. Now here we have to add the variable field. We have to select the state, right? And in the state we just say, because we want to move it in the deferred state, so we are selecting a deferred state over here. Correct. So I hope this is a very simple, guys. So as per the flow I'm going, if demand got rejected, then move demand to deferred state. So here I'm just I have created one more action, that update or demand record over here, right? So this will basically action name is the update record over here, because this is the demand, that's why it is coming update demand record, and because here we have selected the table, right? Now the state we want to set it to deferred, right? We are done. I'm hoping this is the simple flow, guys. I have designed it. Okay, so first thing is the trigger condition, and then we are sorry, first thing is the trigger condition over here. If demand get submitted from draft to submit state, then this flow will start executing. First thing it will do, it will send the notification over here. We have configured the notification. Second thing it will do, that it will ask for the approval. It will send a approval to a demand manager group. Once the demand manager group approves and reject based on the condition, if demands get approved, it will create a task. Otherwise it will reject the demand will move from submitted to deferred state, right, guys? We are done. So let's save it. Now it will take a little time. Yeah, it now our this flow got saved. And now before starting it, let's do a testing over here whether it is happening or not, so that we can do a troubleshooting if it is, before activating this flow. So let's click on the test, and here we will select our first demand. So let's say I'm just going to select anyone. So compliance audit system, I'm just selecting this demand, and I'm just clicking on the run test. We'll see whether the task is creating or updating, what it is happening based on the conditions, right? So let's go over here and we'll select, right? Again, see right now here it is asking for the approval, right? So it is not yet approved, right? So here all the data we can see. If you can click over here, you can see the data over here, right? So approval is already made, and it is waiting for the approval, right? So it seems like it is working, because the until and unless I will not approve it, this demand will not move it ahead, right? So let's start the actual flow, guys, over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to activate this flow, and don't forget to activate the flow, or otherwise it will not impact. Fine. So I have already created one demand over here. Yeah, it's got activated. So the moment you will say activated, deactivated button will be enabled, right? Fine. So this is the demand, guys. I have just created for testing purpose, right? I'm just refreshing it, and we will see as of now there is no demand is there. Sorry guys. Fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to submit this demand and let's see what it is happening now. I have submitted this demand and the notification for check the notification whether it's triggered or not. I will just go to email logs and we'll see over here, right? So this demand got triggered as you can see here. This is the demand number 1108. So same demand number we have 1108, right? So notification is working. Let's say whether it is approved or not, because here as you can see here, um, by default here requester name is there. There's two guys there who need to approve it in order to move demand this further. So we will cross verify whether it is send a notification to correct group member or not, basically, right? So let me open the groups. So we are sending approval for demand manager. We will verify how many group members are there in this. So there are only two group members are there, Antony and Anete, right? So these two group member will receive the approval request and both has to approve where it is. Yeah. This is the demand. Okay, last one. So now what I'm going to do, instead of login with their account, because I'm having admin rights, so what I will be doing, I will be just doing right clicking on over here and I'll be doing a approve over here, right? So the moment I will approve demand approve the test over here, it is coming. So let me go back again to the our state over here, right? So let me just refresh the demand and we'll see. And still as you can see here, still demand task is not yet created, and because still it is waiting for um, approval, right? Still it is there. So as you can see, I'm just clicking over here in the task is not yet created, right? Now let's approve the second one also, because we have given the condition if all the member is approving, then only demand will treat as a approval or rejection, right? So I'm just going back. Let me refresh it again, this demand. Okay, fine. Let me refresh it. Oh. This demand moves to a deferred state. Why so? And this got created also. So there is some logic mismatch might be there. So we will troubleshoot what is happening with our flow, because this supposed to not happen, right? So we have approved it, as you can see here both are approved, but ticket got also created, and on top of that demand moves to deferred state. So there is some mistake happen in our flow. So we'll see what is the mistake. It is there, right? So okay, so this is a flow. We are saying if approval is a state. Okay, we'll see. uh, okay, let's say ask for approval. Approval is approved. Approval is approved, or we'll say this way. Okay, so no, this one we don't want to modify. Will what we will do, we will just say approval is rejected. Approval is rejected. Approval is rejected. Then we can do a drag and drop over here, guys. So I'm just doing a drag and drop, right? And for this I will make it outside. Fine, so no need to create it again. So what I did, guys, so if it is rejected, then it will update the record as a deferred state, and if it is approved. If it is not rejected, then it will create a task. So maybe I have done this mistake because this is the main path which will get follow. And yeah, so again, if we want to say if it is approved, and again, if we want before this, if we want to say, let's say we will add one more condition over here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to say uh, not action here. What we will be doing again, we will be checking here, we will be saying else condition. Okay, we forget to write the else condition, so in the else condition which we will be doing our this stuff. Fine guys, so if condition is I forgot to include the if and else conditions guys over there, right? So that was also correct. So if it doesn't matter, that means whether you are checking the accepted or rejected. So if it is rejected, then here this will update it. If it is no, else, it will create the demand over here, and this flow will execute as it is. If you are writing anything on this path, then it will execute by default. Fine, so I believe we have identified the issue and we have fixed it, and let's see, we will run it again guys, the moment you will do the changes, then again you have to activate your flow. So once it will get activated, in meantime what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one more demand over here so that we will test it from the scratch. Yeah, I got activated, and let's say test 001, and we will click on the save. Fine, so let's submit this demand. So this time number 9 got created, right? So I have submitted, and if we will see this time, then definitely one notification will come for 9 as well. Okay, let me do a jet2a. Yeah, so this is the notification which we have got. There are other notification is also there, but that was for maybe the different purpose was configured. But yeah, here is the one it got created. Fine, now the our main objective to test it over here, that the approval one. So once we'll refresh it, it is coming, right? So let me approve it again. What I'm going to do, I'm going to approve it both at a time, so that it will create a demand, not a demand task, and it will not move to the deprecated state. Still loading, so let me refresh it so that we will have a clear picture on it. So still you can see here I have approved it, and the demand is still on the submitted state, and this time one task got created, right? And as you can see here, a short description I have given the test, and it is coming over here in this section because we have mapped with the parent. Right, so this is the simple flow guys, which we have configured. This is the way we can it's a very simple flow designer guys. You just need to do a kind of a drag and drop, right? So the once you will start making a simple flow, then you will understand, okay, it's very easy to make any flow. So that's why they have made it, ServiceNow have made it to make a use of business purpose, like the person who doesn't know the technical stuff but they want to configure any flow for a specific demand. And let's talk about only the managers, they don't doesn't have the technical knowledge, right? They has to create a demand flow, they have a flow. So right, so instead of writing coding, they can just come over here and they can configure the flow, right guys? Thanks for watching guys. In the next video I'll be talking about the how we can design our custom actions, right? And we will be talking about the more use case the scenario. Fine, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.